Welcome to the Scenario Podcast, your guide to mental health and well-being. Each episode, we uncover practical tools, discuss expert insights, and explore how supplements can transform your mental health journey. Get ready to learn, grow, and thrive with us.
You know, if you feel like the world is constantly dialed up to 11, well, you're definitely not alone. We're seeing these globally recognized spikes in stress and mood issues that come with it.
Absolutely.
And that's really fueled this huge search for natural, supportive solutions. People want something that works, ideally something they can access easily.
And maybe without the side effect profile you sometimes get with traditional pharmaceuticals.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So today, the focus of our deep dive is this ancient powerhouse many are turning to, ashwagandha with Phinia somnifera.
That's right. And ashwagandha is probably best known as an adaptogenic herb. It's a concept we'll unpack in a minute.
Okay.
Our mission today is really focused. We want to strip away some of the marketing hype,
Get right to the facts.
Yeah, get right into the rigorous scientific data. We're going to look at the clinical evidence around its potential role in mood support for you, the listener. We'll look at its precise mechanisms, how it actually works in the brain and body. And critically, talk about the practical stuff. Safety considerations, things you absolutely have to know before even thinking about using it.
And we've pulled together all the key research for you. Everything from its history in traditional medicine right through to modern meta-analyses, clinical trials, and that crucial safety info. So let's jump in.
Okay.
Ashwagandha's story, it doesn't start in some modern lab, does it? It goes back thousands of years.
Way back. It's really a foundational piece of Ayurvedic medicine, used for centuries.
So this isn't just some trendy new supplement of the month. It has really deep traditional roots.
It truly is a cornerstone herb in that system. Traditionally, it was used for things like alleviating stress, promoting overall vitality, supporting general wellness,
Yeah.
resilience.
And the reason it's kind of exploding in popularity now is how well that ancient idea fits our modern needs, right?
Exactly. It aligns perfectly. We have this undeniable rise in stress-related mood disturbances. And people are actively looking for effective complementary options, things that are generally well tolerated.
Which brings us back to that key concept you mentioned, adaptogen. We hear that term thrown around a lot.
It gets used quite loosely sometimes.
So if you listening are thinking about this herb, what does being an adaptogen actually mean? Biochemically, psychologically.
Okay, think of it like this. An adaptogen helps your body act kind of like a thermostat for stress.
A thermostat. I like that.
Yeah. It doesn't make the stressor disappear, right? But it helps your internal system, your physiology, modulate its response. It helps restore balance. It basically increases your body's ability to resist the damaging effects of stress, whether that's physical or emotional.
So it helps you cope better.
Essentially, yes.
Yeah.
This ability to normalize, to stabilize, that's precisely why ashwagandha is so relevant for chronic stress-related mood issues, is trying to work at the root of the problem.
That thermostat analogy is great. So instead of slamming the brakes on your whole system, it just helps dial down the intensity when the alarm's been ringing too loud for too long.
You got it. And that shift in focus, from just treating symptoms to actually modulating the underlying stress response, that makes it a really appealing path for people dealing with maybe mild to moderate mood issues tied directly to that chronic stress pattern.
Okay, so if we pivot from the history, let's talk hard numbers. The sources you looked at highlighted some pretty promising clinical evidence. There was a significant meta-analysis mentioned.
Yes, that was a key finding.
What did that big review tell us about ashwagandha and depression?
Well, when they pulled the data from multiple clinical trials, it showed something significant. Participants experienced notable reductions in their depression scores.
Okay.
When they were taking ashwagandha over a period of about 60 days, that's pretty compelling evidence suggesting it offers a real measurable benefit for individuals dealing with mild to moderate depression.
60 days, that gives a decent time frame, an expectation for pacing. But what about the doses? What kind of amounts were needed for those results?
The good news is the benefit was seen across a fairly broad dosage range, specifically from 100 milligrams up to 600 milligrams per day.
That's quite a range.
It is. It shows efficacy might be achievable with different preparations, provided they're standardized correctly.
Yeah.
That's a crucial point we'll need to come back to.
Standardization. Right. Got it. We also found a really fascinating, maybe more complex example in the research stack. It hinted at just how broad this herb's application might be, even beyond typical stress.
Yes, you're probably thinking of the 12-week trial with participants who had schizophrenia.
That's the one.
Yeah, they were given a pretty small dose, actually, just 100 milligrams daily. And the researchers specifically noted an improvement in their depressive symptoms.
Which is really interesting in that context.
It's highly suggestive because conditions like schizophrenia often involve severe underlying issues, like inflammation and oxidative stress pathways. So to see mood improvement in such a complex group suggests ashwagandha isn't just acting like a simple calming agent. It seems to be influencing these deeper biochemical pathways related to brain health.
Okay, that makes understanding the how even more critical then. If it's potentially working in complex mood disorders, it's got to be more than just placebo.
Definitely.
So let's dive into the mechanisms. The sources pointed to 3 major ways this ancient root might be modulating our modern brain chemistry. Mechanism number 1, the body's master alarm system.
That's the hypothalamic pituitary adrenal axis, the HPA axis.
Right, the HPA axis. Heard of it.
This system is really the core of your body's stress response. It controls the release of cortisol, the main stress hormone.
Okay.
Now, when you're chronically stressed, this HPA axis can become dysregulated, get stuck on...
Leading to constantly high cortisol.
Exactly, which is devastating for mood, sleep, overall health. Ashwagandha seems to directly modulate or kind of calm down this HPA axis. By influencing this central control system, it fundamentally helps normalize that stress hormone cascade. And that reduces the stress-induced mood disturbances. It's tackling the cause of the imbalance head-on, just what an adaptogen is supposed to do.
So it's basically fixing that faulty thermostat that keeps pumping out heat even when the room's fine.
Precisely. And while it's doing that, modulating the big stress system, it's also influencing the brain's internal communication network, the neurotransmitters. That's mechanism number 2.
Okay, which specific pathways are we talking about here?
Primarily, the research points to the GABAergic and serotonergic pathways.
GABA and serotonin, key players in mood.
Absolutely. Think of GABA as your brain's main brake pedal. It promotes relaxation, calm.
Right.
If you're depressed or anxious, this system is often underperforming. Ashwagandha appears to enhance GABA activity, helping to soothe those overexcited neural circuits.
And serotonin.
Simultaneously, it seems to influence the serotonergic system. Serotonin, as you know, critical for feelings of well-being, stability. Disruptions in both GABA and serotonin are hallmarks of depression.
So influencing them directly would obviously contribute to its mood-regulating properties.
Exactly. It helps explain some of the effects people report.
That explains the calming aspect, sure. But the third mechanism, this one connects back to that schizophrenia case example we talked about. The link between mood, brain chemistry, and whole body health. Specifically, inflammation.
Yes, and this is perhaps one of the most exciting areas of the research, actually.
Really?
Yeah. Ashwagandha possesses potent anti-inflammatory and antioxidant properties, and we now understand that chronic low-grade inflammation and the oxidative stress that comes with it, they are strongly linked to developing and maintaining mood disorders.
So an inflamed body can lead to an inflamed brain, basically.
That's a good way to put it. Essentially, yes.
But wait, how does an herb we think of for stress also help with chronic inflammation? Are those two things really connected?
Oh, they are deeply connected. Stress itself, especially chronic stress, causes inflammation. Your body releases these chemical signals, neuroinflammatory markers.
Okay.
And the preclinical studies, the animal studies we looked at, they confirmed this. In chronic stress models, ashwagandha reduced key inflammatory signals, specifically things called TNF-alpha and IL-1 beta.
Okay, technical terms, but basically internal alarm signals.
Exactly. Internal alarm signals that, when they're consistently high, just wreak havoc on brain function and even structure over time. By counteracting these markers, the herb seems to reduce that neuroinflammatory burden, and that supports a healthier, more stable mood environment.
Wow, that bridges the gap perfectly. It shows how it goes from this sort of abstract idea of an adaptogen to a measurable biochemical agent.
Indeed. It helps explain why the benefits aren't just subjective feelings, but seem rooted in actual measurable changes to hormones, neurotransmitters, and these inflammatory cascades.
Okay, all of this sounds highly promising, but we absolutely have to shift gears now. We need to talk practicality, safety, regulation, and crucially, limitations.
Yes, absolutely essential.
What does the research say about safety, assuming it's used correctly?
Generally speaking, at the doses that have been studied in these trials, ashwagandha is quite well tolerated.
That's good news.
It is. If side effects do occur, they tend to be mild, primarily digestive upset, maybe some stomach discomfort. Compared to many pharmacological options, that's an appealing profile.
But there's always a but, isn't there?
But it doesn't mean it's risk-free for everyone. And this brings us to the absolutely critical warning the research was emphatic about.
We really can't emphasize this enough, can we? Herb-drug interactions.
This is non-negotiable, seriously. Because ashwagandha works by modulating those pathways we just discussed, GABA, serotonin, it carries a significant risk, a real risk of interacting with conventional medications that target the exact same pathways.
So if you're already taking something?
Exactly. If you are currently taking any antidepressant, any anti-anxiety medication, sedatives, mood stabilizers, you must exercise extreme caution.
Because?
Because layering ashwagandha on top of existing treatment without professional guidance could lead to, well, compounded side effects. Or it could negatively impact how well your prescribed medication works. It could interfere.
So the very mechanism that makes it potentially effective is also the thing that makes professional consultation mandatory. You can't just add this to your existing mood meds without medical oversight.
You absolutely cannot. The necessity of talking to your healthcare provider, your doctor, your psychiatrist, before starting supplementation is paramount, especially if you're already managing a diagnosed mood disorder. Please talk to them first.
Okay, message received loud and clear. Now, if someone does get the green light from their doctor, how do they ensure they're getting a quality product? What should you look for? Standardization, you mentioned.
Yes, standardization is key here. The sources were very specific. The typical effective dose range, as we said, is about 100 to 600 milligrams per day. But quality control matters hugely. Consumers should look for supplements that are standardized to contain between 2.5% and 5% withanides.
Withanides, those are the active compounds.
They're believed to be the primary active compounds, yes. The ones responsible for many of ashwagandha's effects. If a product isn't standardized to these levels, frankly, you have no real way of knowing if you're getting a therapeutic dose.
Which ties into that limitation you hinted at earlier, the variability in research.
Exactly. It makes comparing studies difficult if the extracts aren't consistent.
And, as we noted with that 60-day window in the trials, consistency is vital, right? This isn't like popping a pill for immediate relief.
That's vital to remember. This is a commitment. While some studies saw positive changes within 60 days, everyone's biochemistry is unique. You need consistency, and you need patience. Think of it as a long-term support tool, not a quick fix.
Okay, so what are the overall research gaps then? What limitations did the sources acknowledge that we really need to keep in mind?
Well, despite all the promising findings, the research base still has limitations. Primarily, we often see small sample sizes in the individual trials.
Right, not huge groups of people.
No. And, as we just discussed, there's significant variability in how the ashwagandha extract itself is prepared and standardized across different studies.
Which makes it hard to generalize findings.
It does. Future research really needs to focus on much larger, more robust, standardized trials. We need those to definitively confirm efficacy across different types of people. We need to better understand the optimal dosing for specific challenges and figure out if people with other health conditions or maybe specific age groups benefit more than others. Lots still to learn.
So wrapping up this section, the ultimate conclusion, should you, the listener, view ashwagandha as a replacement for traditional therapy or medication?
Absolutely not, no. The strong conclusion across all the clinical data we reviewed is that ashwagandha should be approached strictly as a complementary option.
Complementary, not replacement.
Precisely. It's highly promising for easing symptoms of depression, particularly those driven by chronic stress. But it must be used alongside, not instead of professional medical guidance and treatment.
Okay, let's try and summarize this whole journey then. We traced ashwagandha from its ancient Ayurvedic roots
Thousands of years back.
to its modern role as an adaptogen, something that seems to calm the body's master stress regulator, that HPA axis, while also influencing key neurotransmitters like GABA and serotonin.
And potentially reducing inflammation.
And reducing inflammation, right. It appears generally well-tolerated, promising support, especially for stress-related mood issues.
But the absolute necessity of professional consultation before using it, especially with other meds, cannot be overstated.
Non-negotiable.
Non-negotiable.
Okay, so building on that point about standardization and the active compounds, here's maybe a final provocative thought for you, our listener, to mull over.
Okay, let's hear it.
We've established ashwagandha has been used successfully for centuries, right? In traditional holistic systems where the focus was likely on the whole plant, the synergy of everything in it.
The traditional approach.
But modern clinical science demands we isolate and quantify specific bits, like that 2.55% with analytes, to prove it works in a way we can measure easily.
Right. The reductionist approach necessary for trials.
So what does this tension, this difference between a holistic, ancient way of using it and the modern need for highly standardized, quantifiable trials, what does that tell us about the fundamental challenge? The challenge of validating complex natural medicines within a Western medical framework that prefers single-molecule drugs.
That's a deep question. It suggests that maybe the true effectiveness of some traditional remedies lies in that complexity, that synergy we might lose when we try to oversimplify it for standardization.
Yeah, maybe the whole is greater than the sum of its parts, even if the parts are easier to measure. Something complex to think about as you explore your own health journey.
Indeed. Food for thought.
Thank you for joining us for this deep dive into ashwagandha. We encourage you to continue exploring natural remedies and mental health resources, but always safely, always intelligently, and always with professional guidance where needed.
Thanks for tuning in to the Scenario Podcast. Don't forget to visit scenario.com for more expert tips, articles, and supplements designed to support your mental health. If you enjoyed this episode, remember to subscribe and share it with a friend. Until next time, take care of yourself.